Thank you for watching Let's Get Political. I'm, of course, your host, Alicia Reese. Today we have State Representative Anna Eskamani answering 13 questions for us. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Question 1. Who is your best friend at the Capitol?
It's a really great question. I would also say my staff is, because basically they control my life here. So they know my calendar, they know when I eat, when I go to the restroom. So that's only the kind of relationship you can have with your best friend.
Who is your best friend from across the aisle?
Oh, you know what? I would have to say Representative Lawrence McClure. We are both in the same class, and he represents Plant City over in Hillsborough County. But I have visited the strawberry fields with him in his district, and he actually once saved me from my car running out of gas, and literally got to take a gas to help us get back home. So I'm in debt to Representative McClure for showing up when I needed him most. And despite us disagreeing on almost everything, he's just also a really good person to work with. It was my twin sister who was driving, for the record, but yeah, we literally ran out of gas. It was wild.
What do you do when you aren't in Tallahassee and when you are in Tallahassee but not at the Capitol?
So when I am not in Tallahassee, I am back in the district, meeting with constituents, managing emails, trying to finish my PhD. I also have a day job, so I got things to do in my day job as well. So I'm basically always working, I think is the reality of my life. When I'm in the Capitol, but not in the actual building itself, I am usually back at my Airbnb, getting ready for Tallahassee the next day. So that's the hours you use to read bills, to get your questions in order, to track your own legislation and budget requests. So these are 60 days of just complete chaos, and you always have to be on the entire time.
What's your favorite bill that you put forth last year?
Without a doubt, one of my favorite bills that I actually filed for 5 years in a row, that we just passed last year, was to eliminate the tax on children's diapers and adult incontinence products. Even though Governor DeSantis takes credit for this bill, it was a Democratic proposal that was being pursued before I got here, and then I was able to carry the mantle and continue working on it. And we finally got it passed, signed into law, and now Florida families don't pay any sales tax on diapers, whether they're for children or adult incontinence products. But we do still have taxes on, different types of like baby items and things like that. But, one of the biggest challenges in Florida is we have a very regressive tax structure, meaning that people of a working class background pay more of their annual income to taxes than people of more means. So one of my goals is to try to make it a more balanced tax structure for everyone.
What's a bill that someone else put forth that you're passionate about?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say, bills that have to do with women's rights are always going to be a priority for me. And I'm thinking about things like sexual assault prevention, legislation that helps to strengthen human trafficking prevention, equal work for equal pay, the ERA, policies that help to lift up women and girls and families, bills that have to do with childcare resources. All those are policies that are really important to me in my district. And so I'm always excited to support those bills when I see them.
Do you live in your district?
I do live in my district, Sweet District 42. I live in Thornton Park, the heart of the district.
You're running for re-election. Sum up your campaign in one word.
In one word, I would say fabulous.
If you win re-election, how do you realistically see Florida in the next 2 years?
That's a great question. I mean, part of our goal as members of the Democratic caucus is to get rid of the supermajority we face right now in the legislature. To give you all some perspective, Republicans control 2/3 of both the Florida House and Senate. They also control the governor's mansion. And of course, the state Supreme Court is very conservative. So this creates an imbalance in the political environment where it's very hard to get good bills through. It's hard to even create an environment for compromise when there's no need to. You can still pass your bills without talking Democrat. So I want to not only win my re-election, but help eliminate that supermajority, which requires flipping 5 seats in the Florida House. And then that sets the pace for more wins in the future. And of course, this will happen beyond my time here, but I want to see Democrats in the majority. I want to see what a Florida can look like when we prioritize the needs of everyday people over that of special interests and corporations. I want to see a state that is not prioritizing culture wars and instead is focused on solving problems versus creating them. I I really want to see every Floridian feel represented by their state government. And regardless of if I'm here or not to do that, I will help make that a reality.
What's something about the Capitol that a lot of people don't know? A secret spot or a little known fact?
Oh, that's a really great question. Well, so I don't think a lot of people know that there's a art museum on the 22nd floor of the main Capitol building. And it also provides you with a really beautiful view of Tallahassee. And so I love encouraging folks to visit because it's a very peaceful place to go. And it really is just an environment to find respite in what is otherwise a very chaotic environment here.
What's a misconception people have about your job?
The biggest misconception about my job is people think I make a lot of money. In fact, I think most folks, especially like, it's mostly the trolls who are like, we didn't pay you to do that. It's like, you barely pay me as it is, right? Like my salary as state representative is $28,000. And so I have to work a second job that is my main source of income. So everything that I do is really, from a place of service, because money is not why any one of us run for state office. Now, I will say that the low pay creates an environment for a lot of corruption because people are more vulnerable to such corruption when they don't have an income they can live off on. And the low pay creates an environment where only wealthy people can even run for office in the first place. So there's a lot of changes that can happen to make our system more accessible to everyday folks. But I do think that the biggest misconception is that I'm paid a lot of money, that I have a lot of staff. I actually only have 2 full-time staffers in a district of 188,000 people. So I do carry a lot of the constituent services myself as well. And I think folks also assume that session is all the time when it's really just a 60-day period. So I'll have folks who will ask me, file this bill. And unfortunately, I only get 7 bill slots, and I can only file bills within a very certain specific time frame. So good ideas might come our way sometimes too late, and so we have to kind of provide folks with that insight so that we can prepare for next session.
If you weren't a state representative, what would you do?
I would totally be a wedding planner. I love logistics. I love managing stressful moments and making them more calm. And I absolutely love seeing people be in love. The other idea is an investigative journalist, because I also just love uncovering the fuckery of this process and helping to expose corruption and problems and ways to get involved. So I think that could also be a fallback plan, but being a wedding planner just sounds really fun and stress-free for me. For the bride, it might be stressful, but I will keep you calm. I will totally keep you calm.
What's a fun fact about your job that people don't know?
You know what? I would say that there's actually more bipartisanship than you think, because the videos that we often see online are going to be the most extreme examples, but there's a lot of just sidebar conversations, collaboration that happens on some pretty non-controversial issues that are actually really impactful. Doesn't mean those bills are the ones that are prioritized or those actually pass, but there actually are a lot of moments of just agreement. Sometimes there's Republicans who agree with me, but they can't vocally say that. But there actually can be more common ground than you think on first glance.
What does your perfect day include?
Oh, I love this question. My perfect day includes a nice latte in the morning. I've been trying to cut back on purchasing of such things, and my sister got a little Nespresso machine. So I've been using that now. But I love being able to wake up, work out in the morning, wash my face. I mean, honestly, I'm just listing basic human interactions with oneself, but I don't have that a lot in my life because I don't have routine. So the perfect day for me is a routine, is one where I go to sleep at a decent hour, I wake up at a decent time, I can read the news in the morning, I can work out, wash my face, not feel rushed leaving, and not be running late. So the perfect day for me is one where everything just fits and there's a structure, and I don't have any surprises. Everything can be really planned ahead, which is unlikely in my day-to-day. So when I have those moments, I'm internally grateful for them.
Thank you so much for taking the time to answer.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fabulous. And I hope it inspires folks to get more involved in state government as well.